Okay, does anybody have a flag that they can flip their computer to?
I do. I could.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, I do too.
good morning, Liz.
She's still muted.
Morning, Sherry.
Good morning, everybody.
Can we see that?
Yes, okay, let's say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag
flag
of the United States of America
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
With
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the agenda?
I will move to accept the agenda.
That was by Tammy,
Second.
second by, okay. Who, Sherry moved it?
Sherry moved, Tammy second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, call for the
Who does
vote.
somebody? Okay,
Is Deb not on? Okay, there you are. Deb, can you call off names? Okay, if you're in favor, raise your hand.
Sherry, I have just.
Oh, there we
logged in,
go.
but Nothing's been noted
okay,
yet.
there we go. Okay, here we go.
All right, go ahead.
This is Deborah and I just logged in, so whatever was said has not been logged.
We are voting to accept the agenda, if you will call for the vote.
Thank you. Hall,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Noise,
Yes,
Wright.
Yes,
And can you please remind me who made the motion and who seconded it?
Sherry made the motion, Tammy seconded it, and we opened with pledge.
Thank you.
And, but you still need to get Cody's vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, thank you, Cody.
All right, we have a very short agenda. You read it. It's where Liz is asking for the board to give her the right to call off school whenever she deems it necessary.
Risha is,
now is it
Oh,
Liz or
what did I say?
Risha?
Risha? Who did I say?
You said Liz.
Oh, I was looking at Liz, with sunglasses. So Risha, put that out. We need to hear a motion and then we can discuss it.
We need to hear a motion for,
A motion to accept our, for Risha to, or deny, accept or deny Risha's the ability to call off school as she deems necessary.
President Wright, would you like me to read the way it's written in the agenda?
If you'd like to, yes.
To provide superintendent authority to have schools move into remote learning when needed due to emergency concerns regards to workforce or coronavirus until the issue is resolved for the 2021-2022 school year.
It should be only, yeah, okay. Do I hear a motion for this?
Make a motion.
Or to accept it?
Yeah.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so the motion was made by Cody, seconded by Stacy. Now we're open to discussion. So where do you want to start?
Let's get more information on what I think. How many people are quarantined?
so
I'm
right
sorry.
now, I received information from Liz this morning that we have 156 students quarantined. We have 5 staff members with coronavirus, and we have 22 students with coronavirus right now. And I want to say that this morning, we had 6 teachers call in from one of our schools that needed a sub. So I sent 2 of my employees from the district office to that school to sub because they were using their secretaries. They were using, people to watch the kids. And so we have some situations where there's 2 things that are happening right now. So we're having a surge in coronavirus cases, and then we're having a workforce issue of just adequate coverage. And so what I'm asking from you guys, that if there is a need, because we don't have adequate coverage of workforce issues, or if we have a surge in coronavirus, that you provide me the authority to make a decision to close schools based off of a situation where we just don't have the resources to cover all our kids. And that's what I'm asking for. And it's not long term. It's only for what is necessary and needed for us to overcome that, so that we can inform our parents, we can keep our kids safe. And that's the reasoning behind it all.
Closing the schools impact our athletes and our extracurricular band drama students. Particularly, I'm thinking more of the CHASA sponsored. If we go remote, do they become ineligible?
No, this will not impact sports unless we don't have coaches, because we're not in a public health crisis. This is all extracurricular, all sports, everything will keep running. This will only impact our day-to-day because, in the past, sports were impacted because of the virus. This is not right now, unless they're quarantined. This is not about the virus. This is more about our workforce.
So, Risha, what if we, and I, as you know, am anti-masking, but what if we mask our students, say, starting Monday and then ending it exactly 2 weeks from that date? Would that help any? I'm looking at my calendar. If we start, say, masks on Monday, off on the 15th, would that help? I mean, that's 14 days.
Masking always helps. Mandatory masking is, I've asked to do that. And during this surge, like what the data demonstrates is during a surge, you're totally correct with the 10 to 14 days is you look at that time and you use the most caution, so it would definitely help to do that. I don't know.
Well, that would cut down on our quarantine. Is that not correct?
Right.
Because when we put our kids online, we are just disrupting their education because they're not getting the education that they get in class. And we're disrupting their family life because we have parents that work, both parents work, and then who's going to supervise the kids and make sure they're doing their lessons. So I'm trying to find a solution that I'm very anti-masking, but if this will get us over the hump, I could see that. The rest of the board, please chime in and tell me what you think.
I feel the same way. I'm against masking, but we have got to do something to keep these kids in school. We have continued to talk about research in this way and that way, but research also shows if our students are not on reading level by the 3rd grade, they're lost. And right. We're losing kids. We're losing kids. Kids are our customers. The kids are our customers. And if we lose our customers, then we don't have a school. We don't have a district. We don't have anything. And I'm hearing even from teachers who don't believe in masks and don't want masks. That's what they want right now. Teachers want these kids in school. They don't want to have to remote. teach. They want butts in the seats so they can see these kids and teach these kids in the manner that is most normal in the school brick and mortar situation.
I agree with you, Stacy and Sherry. I mean, I would be willing to compromise. I would not be for them. I would rather have these emergency meetings as we go along instead of just giving one person those the emergency mandate for the rest of the year. And I would compromise the 2-week surge. I'd even propose the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving break, masking our students, and 2 weeks after a Christmas break, masking our students, to compromise to keep our students in school because of those reasons. They do better in school and we need to get our kids up. This is going to do nothing but pull our students back, and they're already so far behind.
Sherry.
Well, where I'm at with this, I do not want to put masks on our students. I do not want to go to remote learning. I appreciate Risha coming to us with coming to us and asking for us to approve this. And I don't believe that she would abuse it. I have faith in her, but we did do this in the past, and I vowed that I did not want to give up my right as an elected official to have my say and my voice be heard to help run our district forward. So I do not want to give her that power that I am willing to have as many emergency meetings or special meetings that we need to come to some kind of an agreement or have discussions and talk about it. And that's kind of what this is about right now. But we've got both sides, like we were talking yesterday. We're not going to make everybody happy. If we go to remote, we will lose kids. If we don't go to remote, we will lose kids. If we go masking, we lose kids. If we don't, we're not going to please everyone. And I do believe that kids need to be in school. And if it comes right down to, what's best for the kids, I always believe in school and learning is what's best for our kids. How we go about that is, a different story. I am absolutely for everybody having their choice right now. As Risha said, we are not in a crisis right now. We are in a teacher shortage. Now, we can't blame the coronavirus for all of this. We had a shortage before we started. I mean, that's our crisis, is a teacher shortage, and how we get through it, it's going to be tough. We're not the only district going through this. We're not the only profession going through this, and we will get through it one way or another. But I believe in still keeping our kids in school learning is, even if we have to ask our parents, our community, you need to step up and help cover some of these classrooms so that we can keep our kids in school. That's what I would be asking for, is community parents, please step up to help us get through this, to keep our kids in school, and help us get over this in a more positive way.
Thank you, Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
Cody?
I actually have a couple of questions for you, Risha. You said that there's a workforce shortage right now and you have a hard time keeping people. And we have 5 COVID positive teachers. Do you think, just from your position, do you think that they would, go doing the math throughout the 10 weeks? Would that really be something that would really help them? Be appreciative of that? Because I know we really have to think about that too. So are they planning to go to remote learning, or are they planning to wear a mask? Thank you.
So for me, and I appreciate your question, thank you so much. This is not about, I'm not saying, and I don't want to worry people. I'm not saying we're going into remote learning right now. Remote learning is really challenging to do. Especially like for me, I have only taught in the classroom. And when you're a teacher, you have your way. A lot of teachers, you're either really tech savvy or you're not as tech savvy. And for me, I'm not saying we're doing remote learning Monday. What I'm saying is, if in 2 weeks something happens where I have to go to remote learning, I'm asking for the authority to make the call. I've talked to my principals. I know the timeline that they can go to remote learning. For me, I came to the realization, I've been reflecting a lot, and it's what's happening right now in the surge that I'm seeing with the COVID and the amount of people like in my office that have gotten sick. Someone came in on Monday and they didn't feel good, and Tuesday, I mean, it just happened so fast. And I realized that I have to handle this the way I handled it in Tuba. And so in Tuba, what I had the authority to call if I needed to go remote. I had the authority to do that in a minute. I don't want to do that. I believe in in-person learning. I believe our kids need to be in school. This is only if and when there's an emergency. And we're not there right now, but we are it's almost like a seesaw, right? We're at a tipping point. And I just want to make sure that I can do something quickly. And it's just a preventative action. It's nothing that we're doing right now. I just got out of the hall like 4 minutes before this meeting with a parent who has 6 kids. And she is really upset at the thought that we would go to remote learning because they don't have the childcare, they don't have the resources. And I get it. And these are things that we will have to talk about, but this is only in an emergency situation. This is not for today, but I can't say what's going to happen in the community in the next 10 days. And so the masking, the nice thing about the masking is if kids are in masks, we don't have to quarantine kids in masks. And I know that that's not part of the action item, but that's the one benefit of masking is, and I think that's what we had discussed before, is if kids are masked, then we don't have to quarantine them if they're around a positive case. Does that answer your question, Cody?
Is that really what it looks like? We have a lot of students masked, but that's not what's going to end up closing the school. It's going to be the teacher shortage anyway. What can we do to fix that? Because the masking, how many teachers are out because of quarantine? I don't think I got that number.
Well, let me go to my email real quick. I don't know how many, Liz, do you have an answer to how many teachers are out because of quarantine?
Teachers don't have to go out for quarantine because they are wearing masks, and especially if they're vaccinated, they don't have to be on quarantine. So most of our adults who have the opportunity to mitigate for themselves do not have to be on quarantine. So the teachers who are out because they have positive cases or they're sick. So they're not out on quarantine. Only students are quarantining at this time.
Well, it seems like we're looking at doing a mask mandate for 2 weeks, and it really might not fix the problem, which is so.
I think the greater concern, it's hard to hear you, Cody, but the greater concern is the staff shortage. We started our school year with a staff shortage, and then to have, I think we have about
45
15
teachers
staff
out right now. We have 45 teachers out today. And that's,
wow.
we have, and sorry to interrupt you, Liz, I didn't mean to do that, but we have 45 teachers out. I'm looking at our sub list, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 without subs. So that's other people in that organization taking care of them. Go ahead, Liz. I really apologize. I didn't mean to do that to you.
No, that's fine. That's the number that I'm looking for. So it's a staff shortage more than it is the quarantining, but you know, we can address both, but I think it's the staff shortage that's bringing the biggest concern at this time from Risha, because we're just tapped out in filling those classes. Our district office is just empty right now.
So can I ask, of those teachers and staff that are out, they're either ill or are they out because possibly their own student is on quarantine and they don't have daycare, or, I mean, I know you can't reveal the.
It's a
specific, but-
combination of everything. So we have staff out because they have cancer. We have staff out because they've had gallbladder surgery. We have staff out because they have kids that are under quarantine. We have staff out because they have gone to visit family. You know, we have staff out for, you know, it's human resources. So
Right.
45 people, 45 different reasons. But
Sure.
the thing is, it's, as I said, I, you know, over, like, just from an admin perspective, we don't even have kids here. I had to pull 2 people from a room and have them go over to a school to teach kids, because there was they were using, you know, their secretary, they were using their counselor, they were using people. But then, you know, from a workforce capacity, I mean, there's 3 people or 4 people in this office right now, like in my district, you know, and that's due to quarantine, COVID, and people supporting other people. And we can do this, but everyone is, you know, the people that I pull to go be in a classroom, they're not doing the job that they signed up to do. And
Right.
they're doing whatever they are supporting us, and my hats go off to them. But they're also, I mean, I don't think they're all that happy that I put them out of their role to do coverage. And this is all of our schools. Like, my principals are, you know, one of my principals has taught over 200 minutes in a couple of days, you know, like they're all doing multitask, and it's just becoming so reactional that we're not providing a fair shake to our kids in the way we're managing right now. And, you know, that's why, as we move forward, I'm creating a bigger plan, for a strategic plan for our 3 to 5 year goal of how we're going to support our workforce, and how we're going to increase salaries, and how we're going to make it so that we have, you know, Sherry was correct when she said that this is not something that just started this year. Our workforce problem has been here for a very long time. And the thing is you couple workforce challenges with the reoccurrence of Delta, and it becomes a very difficult situation, and people are really stressed. You know, people are at their wits' end, and I'm just trying really hard to support my staff, and I'm trying really hard to support my principals, but we are at a critical space where teachers, you know, I can't keep opening up my doors and having, you know, kind of putting Band-Aids on things when it might not be as safe. And it, you know, we might just have to pivot to digital learning, just because we can do that with teachers in the classroom and kids at home. It's not the best thing. I don't want it. But if I don't have adequate coverage anyway, it's not, it's not effectively running the schools anyway.
So what I'm asking is, if we put kids in masks and not go to remote learning, will we be more effective, in your opinion?
I think we will be more effective, and we won't be quarantining as many kids.
And that's what is wanting right now.
That's a big thing. And I think if we mask kids, I think that teachers will feel more safe. I know that in your last packet, we had provided you with the petitions of the teachers that want kids to mask because they don't feel very safe. I think that would go a long way to help people feeling safer. And, you know, I do recommend masking kids and adults. It's the safest way to help, you know, avoid getting the coronavirus and the variants in which come with it.
I still say that I cannot support masks for the year. I can support a short time, but I cannot, because the science shows us that the kids are suffering from health issues. And so we've got to take care of their health issues also. So I kind of liked what Sherry had. We have a lot of professionals out there that if we could con them into helping us during our time of crisis and get them involved. Is that doable?
Yeah, I mean, we have ads in the paper. We have, you know, any recommendations that you have of how I should reach out to people would be great.
How about if we just send a letter home with kids and say, we are in a staff shortage. We need all on board. We do not want to shut down schools. If you have the ability to take on subbing in this time of emergency, it would be greatly appreciated.
And couldn't we also
And put it out there so parents can do it. I'm sorry, Tammy.
I'm sorry,
ahead.
Sherry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just curious of how we can also get the word out. And of course, we have social media, letters, emails and such. But couldn't we tap into the radio stations, KRTZ, and have Dr. Vanderway get on and do a little bit of a tidbit of this is where we are. Those that are in this listening area, could you consider helping us out in this teacher shortage during this time? Something to that fact. I'm sure KRTZ would help us with the cost of putting that ad out, but just something that, I mean, I know we have many that watch YouTube. We all know many retired teachers, and we thank you so much for what you've done for our students. We're just calling a call to action to ask you all to step up again and come on in and help our students and our teachers, those that are hanging with us. And I thank you guys that are hanging with us during this time. It's difficult, and we just so appreciate all of you that are hanging in there and doing jobs that are outside your roles, because bottom line, it's keeping those kids' butts in the seats.
And remember, Risha, that I volunteered. So anytime you need me, just let me know.
I'm just waiting for my fingerprinting process to come back, and I'm in the sub list myself.
And I've received some texts since we've been on this meeting. People just need to have a little more information on what it takes to become a sub. What do they need? And so if we could get that information out to the public, you know, that they don't have to be a certified teacher. They can have a high school diploma. They've got to go through some training. They need to get fingerprinted and
background checks.
Yeah, it's not just a specific. It has to be through the school, through CDE, through the background checks. So
Yeah,
because we can't put just anybody in our classroom.
Right.
We've got our kids.
So, but I think that we've got some people who are willing to step up and do that kind of stuff. But bottom line is, I think we've got to get a handle on it now. Starting Monday, we've got to get a handle on this. And I think that that's the direction that we need to be going in this time right now, is we've got to get a handle on the quarantines and helping our staff who are continually begging for our help.
Yeah.
Again, I say those two groups of people are our customers. And if we don't keep our customers, we're not going to have a business.
That's right.
I just have,
But I don't want to do it just, okay, I want it to be well.
Yeah.
Sherry, go ahead.
Well, my thing is, we keep talking about getting a handle on the quarantines, but my question is, most of the quarantines are healthy students? Is the thing. I'm not so sure that the quarantines is actually something that we can't get a handle on. I think we can get a handle on that. It's the staff shortage is what I think we're having the biggest struggle with. If I'm listening to Liz and Risha correctly on, the numbers, I don't think it's the quarantines. I think, like I said, I think we can get a handle on that because it is just a recommendation.
We have 156 kids out right now.
Okay. So are all
But
of
how many
those-
of them are sick
They're,
versus how many are quarantined?
they're quarantined. 22 are sick.
Well, 22 have positive cases, but if they were still in the same classroom, potentially more kids would get it. And we saw the quarantine successful in the middle school. We started with 2 positive. We ended up with 11 who contained in that group that we quarantined, and they didn't spread it to the rest of the school. So that's why it was important to quarantine those students so they wouldn't spread to the rest of the school and student body. So we only have 22 that are positive right now, and that's why they're in the quarantine numbers. But if we had those 22 and then one more got it, or one more, we had in Kemper, we have 5 in one grade now in Kemper. So if those kids were in school, it would spread a lot more quickly. Does that make any sense? It's not the quarantines at this point that's the issue, because they are important. It is important that parents follow those. Masking will help us mitigate. But right now it's the staffing shortage. So bring all 156 kids back and we still have a staff shortage. And so Dr. Vanderway is working with the town and community on putting some things together to help us be able to address that. But in the immediate time, that's why she's seeking this emergency power, is if we have a school like we had this morning where 6 teachers at the last moment called in, and now we've pulled volunteers, we've pulled district staff, other people to try to cover that. If we can't let that happen one day, can we close that campus until we can resolve the staffing issues? We can't put our greater plan in place yet because it's not ready to unfold. So we're just asking for that emergency power. Mass would be great to mitigate, but the staff shortage is probably a huge concern over that at this immediate time.
My suggestion, it sounds like all of most of the board members are kind of said something along the line. We would rather not be in an emergency meeting to make that decision.
I can't hear you, Cody.
Tony, lean closer to the computer, please.
Hear me at all this close or no?
I still can't hear you.
Sorry, guys. Bad audio.
You want to text me?
Yeah, one second. I'm gonna see if I can find headphones.
Okay.
Better.
So we come
We
back.
all heard that.
So we're coming back to the fact that we need to decide on our vote. We're walking around it. Do you have any recommendations on giving Risha that power, or do you want to do a restriction on it, or do you not want to do it? We need to make that decision.
Yeah, I'd rather just keep having these emergency meetings at this point in time, and just the call out to those to consider subbing and helping our teachers.
I personally, and it's not about me at this point in time. It's about the kids and this shortage. I would like to look at masking our kids for a couple of weeks, trying to get this under control. Hopefully not as many quarantines, if that would help keeping teachers in the rooms. I liked the idea that Tammy had. Let's do 2 weeks now, 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, 2 weeks after Christmas. And then if we have to change that, then we can in one of these meetings. But I really feel like we need to look at what our teachers are asking us to do to try and help them. And if they feel like that's something that's going to help them, then that's what we need to do.
Okay. What about we give, and I'm just throwing the idea out, that we give Risha the power to do that if she makes a phone call. Say she calls me or the next person who's going to be president, and then that person calls each board member and tell them what's going on, and they can either say yay or nay, and we can have it in 30 minutes, Risha, instead of waiting for an emergency meeting. How does the board feel about that?
Well, you have the motion on the board, on the floor as
Right.
it is written. You'd have to make another motion.
Right. I understand. I'm just throwing out an idea so we can decide how we're going to do our motion. If we want to repeal it, if we want to amend it, how we want to do it. So, I mean, I'm throwing out ideas. Risha feels like she needs that power, and as we've been on the board, we understand that it's not been what we thought we were signing on to. So,
I
anyway,
am still in
we need
agreement.
to. In agreement with what, Sherry?
I was just going to say that, yeah, with the action item that's being presented, we need to vote on that. But I'm with Tammy. Like I stated earlier, I am open to as many emergency or special meetings we need to have. And if that's even just telling Risha, you can give us a call. You can tell us what your needs are, and then we have
Then we can do it.
a quick do it quickly.
Yeah, or we can have an emergency phone calls where we don't even have to meet. We can just do a phone tree.
Right.
Risha, do you find that acceptable?
The one thing I worry about is it's just the timeliness of it, because it is, it happens so quickly. And if I can't get in touch with you all, this is kind of the last ditch effort. This is not something that I would do. Hopefully I would never have to utilize it. This is just to make sure that if we all wake up on, like, let's say it's October 18th or October, I don't even know what day that is, but let's say it's October 18th and we wake up and we find out that there's been, a major call-in at one of the schools, or, I don't necessarily always have the leisure of time, and bringing you all together, might take time, and my teachers don't have the time. And that's the thing. And so it's just, I'm just trying to enable myself to have the authority that if we're in an emergency, whether it's a COVID surge, generally speaking, with a COVID surge, you all would have plenty of time to get together, because, what happened this week, we would be able to meet. But if we have a workforce issue, I might wake up one morning and realize that we don't have coverage for a school, and I might need to close it. And so I'm just asking for, and none of this is long-term. None of this is for, I don't want to go to remote learning. I don't, and nothing would be for, over the time that it is needed to fix the situation, so the goal is that this is a preventative measure based off of an emergency need. And right now we're not totally there. We're getting closer, and I'm just trying to be proactive. And as I said, this is something that I utilized in Tuba City. And to be perfectly honest, I never used the authority. I never shut down the school or went to remote learning without the executive orders of the governor or the President Nez, who's the president of the Navajo Nation. And so I never used it when I was there, but I think it's smart to have, to provide ourselves with the tools to be flexible and adaptable when our kids, if I don't have adequate coverage for my kids, that's a safety concern. And I need to make sure that we just have options. And so that's why I'm making the request. Thank you.
Okay, so we can call for the vote, but also we still have this masking thing hanging over our heads. So after we vote, do you want to come back and talk about masking, or do you want to wait till our next board meeting? How do you want to deal with this?
I'd still like to talk about it, but I do have one question or concern. If Risha has this power on, and I get it, I get the staff shortage, I totally understand that. But if we wake up on October 18th and she doesn't have enough staff to staff the high school or to staff Kemper, let's say, at 7:30 in the morning, we're going to allow Kemper to get closed at 7:30 that morning with no notice to any parents. We're going to be in trouble. And I get the staff shortage. I totally understand that, but there's my concern at any time closing, even if, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. If we went to remote learning effective Monday, we're giving parents only 48 hours to try and find daycare, rearrange schedules, work schedules, those kinds of things. If we did that to them at 7:15 on Monday morning, we're in trouble.
So if we did that, could we perhaps partner with like Pinion Project or something, to where the kids would have someplace to go? So the parents wouldn't panic and wonder what's going on with their kids. I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas.
So what happened to, I'm sorry, I have just a question to add on to what Stacy's comment was. What happens on a snow day and we're waiting till the very last minute again? I mean, I've been a parent where we waited till it's almost time for the kids to walk out the door to go to the bus stop, and we're getting, oh, school's been delayed or canceled due to snow. That's kind of the same short notice, isn't it, Stacy?
Yes and no. I mean, because most of us are watching the weather, we're kind of prepared one way or the other. The weatherman says we're going to get a foot of snow, we're kind of prepared, so they're kind of prepared for that. This is just thrown at us at 7:30 in the morning.
Right. So with this discussion and having this meeting and it being YouTubed and it's out there, our parents are still aware that this quite possibly can happen.
Could happen, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that at some point, do we give Dr. Vanderway that emergency, just not today. I'm thinking that we need to keep it on our discussion for October 19th. I know we have a lot of discussion, but add it to not during the work sessions part, but during the board session part, and have it as another work session, because then we'll have 2 weeks of more numbers And if we go with a mask mandate starting Monday for 2 weeks to litigate this transmission of, I'm not for mask, I'm not saying that, but I'm just helping to get our kids in school, to keep them there, lessen the amount of quarantine. This is what I believe parents, community, staff would be compromising. It would be a good compromise.
So let me see if I understand what you're saying. You're saying give her this authority until our next meeting, and then we discuss it and change? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying do not give her this authority right now, that we would then rediscuss it, bring it up for discussion at the next board meeting.
And what about masking?
And I'm saying Monday, we start masking students for 2 weeks to help litigate the slowness, the virus down, and keep this many kids that are not sick out of quarantine and alleviate some technology issues.
Okay, Cody, do you want to amend your motion?
Yeah, I can certainly do that. I think I might have missed something where I kind of really like your idea, Terry, of if there was a crucial need, she would be able to call you and you call us. Was there a reason that would be able to happen? Or is that just not really the discussion?
Couldn't understand that.
Hold on.
When you're real close to your computer, we can hear you.
Is this any better?
Yes.
No. Is that better?
Okay, what?
My question was, I kind of like your idea, Sherry, where we can, if Dr. Vanderway needed to call you and you call each of us, is there a reason that wouldn't work?
Did anybody understand that?
Yeah,
He
he was
said he-
asking why,
Understood, he liked Sherry's idea that of calling, and he's asking Dr. Vanderway if there's a reason that wouldn't work.
right, and that, that would be a part of the process anyway. If I were to close a school in an emergency situation, I would call Sherry and it would go down the line for all board members. But that is one piece, that's what Sherry and I had discussed yesterday in regards to if I gain the authority to make the call.
I would really prefer it that way because that's, we all still have that decision-making ability, but that is very quick and decisive.
Okay. So Cody, amend your motion to state that what you're wanting.
I make a motion to amend my previous motion to where Dr. Vanderway can call Sherry, to call each one of the board members when there's an emergency, to go to remote learning. Each board member can vote yes or no right there.
Okay, who seconded it? Stacy?
No. Oh, yeah. Yes, I did. I did.
Do you want to second that motion or no?
Well, I'd also like to include the masking of our students for the next 2 weeks also.
So it would start October 4th and end, they wear masks on October 4th and then they come to school on the 18th without a mask. Is that what you're saying? That's 2 weeks.
Yes.
Cody, would you like to put that in, add that to your motion?
Yes, and starting October 24th or October 4th, mask for 2 weeks.
Okay. And Stacy, are you seconding that?
I second that.
Any more discussion?
I would just like to throw out there that we're putting in a mandate in a crucial part of our student count. time. There may be some people going to try to make statements out there. And I mean, I know like I said in the board meeting, when this is not going away, and we're going to keep revisiting these situations from here on out monthly, we need to find a point to where we just need to move forward. And I mean, I understand that the shortage and you know, and maybe it's going to be a hard road no matter what we do. And I know that we will get through it somehow, but I just, I am not for masking. I don't show that it's going to make any difference. Like I said, I feel that's most of our quarantine is healthy kids not coming to school or being told not to come to school.
Well, Sherry, I think that if we did the 2 weeks of masking, it would then again prove exactly what you and I've been saying, that the masks aren't going to help. But meanwhile, this would help prove that fact. That's where I'm at with it right now. I'm not particularly happy, but I am looking for a happy compromise.
And in the meantime, we're keeping kids in school.
Right.
I think that's our main goal, is to keep kids in school. I agree with you 100%, Sherry. I don't want to mask it. I do not want to mask a child. And I think that at this time, we're really skating on thin ice on our counts and stuff. But we need to do something. So is everybody ready to vote?
Yes.
Tammy?
I just had a question. So can Deb read the motion as it stands? Because did Cody amend that we would not be doing the emergency, giving Dr. Vanderway the emergency right now? Or did he? I'm confused with where the motion is.
Yeah. Deb, would you reread it, please?
Okay. Let's see here. Cody amended that Dr. Vanderway would by telephone call the board, and there'd be a vote by call, which she could then act immediately after, followed by, from October 4th through October 18th, the students would be masked. Well, to end on October 18th, I mean.
Did that answer your question, Tammy?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, let's vote. Deb?
Hall,
Aye.
Putin,
Aye.
Noyes,
Due to the mask mandate part, I vote no.
Wells,
Aye.
Wright.
I agree with Sherry on the mask mandate, but I'm going to go aye because we've got to get our kids over the hump.
Yep.
Okay, is there anything else? Then I adjourn the meeting at 10:52.
Thank
Hey,
you.
enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
Oh, by the way, everybody, if you see a phone call from me at 6 o'clock in the morning, answer your phone. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay,
you
bye.
guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank
You too.
you.
Bye.
Bye.